and welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers, from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Today, the Force and the Divine Force, Part 10. From Sri Aurobindo. There was a question. When we were discussing a Spanish general, you used the words the right force. Why did you say right? Is there also a wrong force? Sri Aurobindo. Don't remember exactly what I wrote. Can't say very well. But of course there can be a wrong force. There are Asuric forces, Rajasic forces, all sorts of forces. Apart from that, one can use a mental or vital force, which may not be the right thing. Or one may use the force in such a way that it does not succeed, or does not hit the general on the head, or is not commensurate with the opposing forces. Parentheses. Opposing forces need not be Asuric. They may be quite gentlemanly forces, thinking they are in the right. Or two divine forces might knock at each other for the fun of the thing. Infinite possibilities, sir, in the play of the forces. End parentheses. What is a mistake? Evidently, the force used is always the force that was destined to be used. If it succeeds, it does its work in the whole, and if it fails, it has also done its work in the whole. Na tatra sukate, Buddha. In what way? A force may be applied without any intuition. An intuition can come without any close connection with a force, except the force of intuition itself, which is another matter. Moreover, a force may be applied from a higher plane than that of any intuition. The 17th of April, 1937. The wise man grieves not over that. In the receiving, there must be no inability to contain, no breaking down of anything in the system, mind or life or nerve or body under the transmuting stress. There must be an endless receptivity, an always increasing capacity to bear an ever stronger and more insistent action of the divine force. Otherwise, nothing great or permanent can be done. The yoga will end in a breakdown, or an inert stoppage, or a stultifying or a disastrous arrest in a process which must be absolute and integral if it is not to be a failure. But since no human system has this endless receptivity and unfailing capacity, the supramental yoga can succeed only if the divine force, as it descends, increases the personal power and equates the strength that receives with the force that enters from above to work in the nature. This is only possible if there is on our part a progressive surrender of the being into the hands of the divine. There must be a complete and never failing assent, a willingness to let the divine power do with us whatever is needed for the work that has to be done. There must first be the will to change, firmly conceived and held, then to open the consciousness to the force and let it work with the inner assent to its working. When there is the psychic opening, then even the things most obstinate in the nature can change. The force produces no definite and lasting fruit unless there is the will and the resolution to achieve in the sadhak. Disciple, you had written, I need not bother about it. If peace is needed, it will bring itself. Certainly the main stress should be on the force, but the active assent of the sadhak is needed. In certain things, his will also may be needed as an instrument of the force. It is true that the force can work effectively without any effort on your part. It is not the effort, it is the assent of the being that it needs for its work. Hardly anyone is strong enough to overcome by his own unaided aspiration and will the forces of the lower nature. Even those who do it get only a certain kind of control, but not a complete mastery. Will and aspiration are needed to bring down the aid of the divine force and to keep the being on its side in its dealings with the lower powers. The divine force, fulfilling the spiritual will and the heart's psychic aspiration, can alone bring about the conquest. From the Mother. The inner progress has been sufficiently rapid for the exterior being to find it difficult to follow. Now, the body must learn to receive the divine force and to keep it.